Hey you, listener of Roleplay and Replay podcast. I've interrupted this episode before it's even started, but don't tell Pine, because it's a surprise. This episode of the podcast is releasing during the week of International Women's Day, so I'm abusing the fact that I have editing rights to shout out my fabulous co-host, the Arctic Pine. She introduced myself and a number of her friends to the magical world of tabletop role-playing games when she decided to take a most courageous and commitment-heavy leap of faith and just start DMing a campaign so that she could get into some D&D. Because of that decision, not only have I had some of the greatest fun of my life taking part in 6 different D&D games in just over a year, including, of all things, DMing my own campaign, which I never saw coming, I've also grown closer to several people who I now consider my dearest friends. So, Pine, thank you. Thank you for inspiring me. My heart is larger, my life richer, and oh my god, where did all these dice come from? Oh, right, yeah, I'm just even more of a nerd now. Do me a favour, listeners. Check out Pine's YouTube and Twitch. Links are in the description. Back to your scheduled roleplay and replay.
Greetings there, travellers. Welcome to my establishment, the Token Tavern. What's that? You're looking for work? Well, there are always errands to be found in Tropesville, but folk are happy to pay pretty penny. You could speak to Farmer Average, who's been having trouble with some kind of pest running around their crops lately. And why, just 10 minutes ago, my accent started changing halfway through what I'm doing, but who cares? That shady guy with the hood in the corner covering his face, he made his way into the room and he's sitting in the corner doing nothing, ale untouched, and he's just monitoring the whole place without moving a muscle. He looks real creepy, but he's actually probably a nice guy. In fact, it's that kind of cheerful fellow over there you want to keep an eye on. He's probably the main antagonist to this entire adventure you're starting. Fantasy writers love their plot twists, being hidden in plain sight the entire time. Now don't you go causing no trouble, you lot. This here is a nice peaceful village. We don't need none of that nonsense.
I love it. That was amazing.
I don't know how the accent evolved, but I'm pretty sure it did.
Oh, it was so good.
We're rolling with it. I settled into something in the end. Welcome to Roleplay and Replay. Episode 3. Have we even come up with the name last time? Did we even introduce it? Is that last time? Is this the first time we're actually introducing it? Isn't it? I can't remember.
I think we had the name last time.
My memory is abysmal, as we'll find out in numerous places throughout this episode.
And mine isn't much better.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we better start with the good old... Oh, I forgot what it's called. I think this is going to be a staple in this podcast, is we do the intro, and then I say, let's hop aboard the... And I forget what I call it every time.
It's different every time.
Hyper Inter-Universal Transport Mobile is what we're calling it today. And I'll forget that in half an hour when we move to the next section, but let's get on it.
Yeah.
Choo-choo. It's a train. Choo-choo.
Choo-choo.
Wow, that was a fun train ride.
Amazing.
We're in DM discussions land.
Amazing. Lots of great scenery on the way.
What are we talking about today?
We're talking about tropes.
Yay for tropes, or
Yay
boo for tropes. Do people like them or do people hate? Who knows?
Who knows?
They seem to be pretty successful or they wouldn't become tropes in the first place.
Yes, this is very true. They're tropes for a reason. Because they work.
I feel like they're comfortable is the thing.
Yeah.
Arguably sometimes lazy, but definitely comfortable. And adaptive. There's places you can go with them. I mean, as the intro suggested, I started with a bit of a classic welcome to your first ever tabletop RPG adventure. You're in an inn. Let's discover something to do.
You all meet in a tavern.
And there's a shady guy in the corner. It's the rules. It's the law.
It's the lure.
It's probably Tolkien's fault because of the one in Bree when they first see Aragorn. And it's like, oh my god, Aragorn, he's spooky. And they do it again in The Hobbit, and it's not actually a good guy. It's actually people trying to, murder the Hobbit boy. No, the dwarf guy. I don't remember names.
Yes.
It's just typical. If you're in a tavern and you're anyone who's anyone, there's going to be a spooky person looking at you.
Well, I feel like my campaign's failing then.
Or maybe we're not anyone who's anyone yet.
Oh, maybe. It's very true. Very true.
Also, I don't think any of the 3 campaigns we're involved in together have had that yet, so maybe we're all avoiding it.
We're all avoiding it. We're going to have to get to that at some point, though.
You do have one trope going for you. You've got a prophetic chosen one. Or at least I assume it's a prophetic chosen one from what I've heard. I like to refer to him as the first coming of Jesus, which is hilarious because it doesn't make sense.
Oh, that has snowballed so much from what it was originally. So he's just supposed to, well, it's kind of not just supposed to be, but he's kind of the next leader of the village. Like, I mean, I don't want to give too much away, actually. But it was sort of a small thing in his own little pocket, and then he met you guys and just started like bigging himself up, and then you guys have hooked onto that, and then you're like, about. He's the chosen
leader of village. As far as I'm concerned, he's the next Jesus of the universe. He will show us all into the way of the light and guide us to the next living plane. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Oh.
But that one's fun.
Yeah, that one is fun.
It is a good fun one. Always place to go with that one.
Oh, there's so many places to go with that one.
I mean, the classic with that is that, prophecy, you can't always interpret it how you think you do.
It's very true.
It doesn't always mean what you think it means.
It's very true.
Hoobity boobity, that was a false thing, and you read it wrong.
Always good for some misdirection, though, is a good prophecy.
Oh, love it. And then there's the other classic of self-fulfilling prophecies.
It's true.
I can't help but quote Master Oogway from Kung Fu Panda, which, by the way, is the best film franchise in the universe, if you ask me. I say I'm going to quote it, but I forgot what the actual quote is. What is it? Oh yeah, one often finds their destiny on the path they take to avoid it.
Yep.
Now that's a wisdom right there.
Yep.
It's a good wisdom.
Like your brain goes to that. My brain, when you say self-fulfilling prophecy, goes to Odin and Fenrir.
Yep. It's classic. It's just a classic. Fantasy loves a classic.
Fantasy loves a classic. You know what else is a classic?
What?
Enemies to lovers.
Ooh. Ooh. Beautiful.
Yeah. Or vice versa.
I mean, some of them are terrible.
Yep.
I don't want to open the can of worms that is the Star Wars sequels, but I will anyway. Reylo is just painful to me.
I've only seen the first film.
Good. Keep it that way. I wish I was still like that, when it still had hope and promise. The story just is inconsistent, and it's painful to watch.
Noted.
And that is a classic example. Spoilers of bad guy becomes good, and then they randomly kiss for no fucking reason, and then they all die.
No, well, I don't need to watch it anymore.
Pretty much.
Great.
Pretty much.
Oh dear.
Are there any tropes in my campaign that you've noticed yet? There probably are, I just can't think of them at the moment.
The only one I can think of, and it's only because you've asked me to think of one, is the character that has a lot of magic, but at the moment is uncontrollable.
Fair.
And, following their struggle and all that. I think it's nice that it's not one of the PCs, like it's an NPC, so it makes it quite interesting to be like, oh, not sure where this is going.
True. I feel like there's a lot of stuff focusing on her at the moment, on Vala. And I shall say no more for fear of spoilers.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Well, I'm trying to think if there's any others yet. I don't think. Well, actually, I think I've got a big, scary empire that's evil going on, but you guys haven't really interacted with that much because you're like level 4. Are you even level 4 or are you level 3? I can't remember.
I think we're level 3.
You're like little babbies at the moment.
Yeah, little babby.
Little babbies.
Because if I remember correctly, you've been wanting to level us up, but we haven't gotten to that point because we're slow.
And when we keep missing sessions.
Yeah.
Which has been a pain.
Yeah.
Although Christmas period's over, so maybe that'll stop now.
Woo. Spoiler as to when we're recording this.
Meh.
Not really a spoiler, but
I do love a good trope. They're nice. Like I said, they're comfortable.
yeah.
As long as you work some imagination into them,
Oh yeah.
they're comforting. You feel like sometimes you can watch a film. It's obviously not going to be a masterpiece, but you see a character, they exhibit some kind of typical behaviour of one trope or another. And you're like, right, I know this character. This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
This is the guy that goes around smashing stuff or whatever. Things like that.
Yeah.
But specific to D&D, I think there's a few that are very memeable, especially in terms of like classes and subclasses,
Yes.
or classes and their behaviours. Got any favourites? Either in terms of actual liking them or just memeing about them.
I enjoy memeing about warlocks having daddy or mummy issues.
Amazing.
That is probably my favourite.
I think my favourite is the idea that, well, the memes of where it's like a bard walks into a dungeon, spots a dragon that's a million levels higher than him, and then seduces it. Like, how does that even work?
Oh, I love it.
How does that even work?
I love that
Makes no sense.
all the memes are just, I roll for seduction. Like, what? Oh, that's brilliant though.
It's brilliant, but there's a clear misunderstanding there. But that just because you can roll a dice doesn't matter that you can't get a number high enough to succeed. I worded that poorly, but I know what I meant.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But it's hilarious. I
Yeah.
love it. Also, this one is relevant to a gift I've actually bought for a friend that you know about. But I just love the concept of barbarians and the sentence, I would like to rage.
Yes.
It's just, oh wow, it's the first round of combat. Barbarian, it's your turn. What are you going to do? I would like to rage.
I like to rage.
Oh, well, never would have seen that coming.
I like how calmly a lot of players say it as well.
Yeah.
So I'd like to rage.
It's very much like the Hulk in the Avengers Assemble film where he's like, that's my secret. I'm always angry.
Yeah.
I would like to rage.
I'd like to rage.
That's a good one.
Oh, that is. The other trope that's obvious, well, a well done trope with barbarians is they are low intellect. Not the smartest cookies.
Again, relating to the Hulk smash.
This is true.
Barbarian rage smash.
Rage then smash.
Classic. Absolute classic. I feel like some of these have even like escaped from the D&D world because I'd heard about them before even becoming interested in D&D. Like they're that widespread.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Any other favourites? Across the board? Doesn't have to be a class.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about favourites. I know a lot of other ones, but
Go on then.
I mean, I enjoy the wizard one, which is just the very squishy older gentleman that follows the party around.
That is a good one. I think in my brain I focus less on the squishy part and more on the eccentricity.
I mean, yeah.
Of just being like, I'm a wizard, I do weird things, wizardly ways. Do not question my wizardly power, for I am a wizard.
One of my favorite like memes or the I don't want to say GIF, but there's little comic books there's a wizard and he's like, oh no, I've ran out of spell slots. And then I reveal his second class, which is Barbarian, and just starts like smashing goblins.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's great.
Oh, good old ancient eccentric wizard. Again, Tolkien's fault. A wizard is never late. She flies precisely when he makes to.
Oh dear.
I see we've written in the notes here, creepy old man selling items or potions.
Oh yeah.
That is a good one, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like it's even better if it's not even in a shop. It's just like on some random path, some guy in an overly dramatic cloak.
Yeah.
And he just pulls open one side of it and reaches into his pocket and pulls out some random ass thing. Almost like the poisoned apple with the witch.
Yeah.
It's like, would you like an apple, dear? Or whatever. It's just like, why would anyone interact with that person? But I love it. Love it when they do anyway.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of interesting rewards that could come from that as well. Not just getting an item and such, but like really interesting roleplay and stories that you can get out of these people who have seen a lot in their time.
Yeah, definitely. It doesn't even have to be creepy people all the time as well. Just random encounters are good fun. Random encounters with intelligent creatures, like proper NPCs.
Yeah.
That aren't just monsters. Like Pixie. Oh, I miss Pixie. It's been too long since I played Pixie. She only showed up for one episode.
Yeah. Is she going to
bring
come
her
back?
She better come back, or I'll kill her. What? How does that work?
Maybe that's why she doesn't come back, because you killed her off screen.
I spent so long photoshopping the artwork for her, and then she was like literally around for one session, so I have to bring her back. Dem the rules. Dem the rules.
Dem the rules.
For record, Pixie is a fairy that ended up in my world, despite the fact that there are no other fae. And it was good fun shenanigans, and she played a little, not quite prank, it was like a little puzzly riddly thing that gave the group some monies and a few other things.
Yeah, it was a good riddle.
I liked playing it. I also kind of personified Dobby a bit in like, she's intelligent, but she speaks in third person and simply. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can see that now, yeah.
Pixie is la la la. Pixie's not allowed to do this, things like that. I don't know if that's so much a trope. That's the rabbit path we've gone down. Good old rabbit holes.
Damn rabbit holes.
See, I want to breach the tropes of other kinds of villains, but I'm worried we'll just automatically start talking about the ones we've implemented and spoil each other's campaigns.
I mean, not necessarily. You know nothing about your villain.
You don't know nothing about your villain.
Damn.
Maybe.
Well played.
I can't even say anything else without spoiling it. It's the worst thing. Okay, here's one. A villain, or what do you think about villains that either do or don't have any real motive? So like something that just wants to destroy the world for the sake of destroying the world versus like a Thanos style villain who thinks they're doing the right thing.
I think personally I always lean more towards the villain who thinks they're doing good or has...
There's so much more room for drama.
Yeah. Or has gone through something that skewered their morality.
Yes.
So you can almost see their point about it.
The psychological darkness as opposed to just, mwahaha, me destroy.
Yeah.
Me want power. It is nice and tasty. Honestly, that's why I think Infinity War... I'm going a lot about Marvel at the moment, but I do actually think Infinity War is the best Marvel film and possibly one of my favourite films of all time. Partially because he wins. He basically wins. If you just stop watching the MCU there, oh shit, game over. We lose. Which is, for one, a surprise. That's a good way of throwing expectations without doing it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah.
Especially in a superhero film where the typical superhero film plot is, oh no, we're losing. Oh, we've discovered some new thing. We win.
Yeah.
So the fact that Thanos just steamrolled them at the end and then did what he wanted to do was, mwah, I left that cinema gobsmacked. I'm sure there are better films that do that out there, but I'm not much of a film goer, so that's the one I'm raving about. Yeah, beautiful. I forgot what my point was.
I have no idea.
Did I have a point? Probably
We were
not.
talking about good villains.
Yes. I like Thanos.
He's a good villain.
I prefer Infinity War 10 game. I'm going to go and say it. I said it. I said it. Fucking said it.
Yeah, I enjoy the MCU universe, but I'm not strict fan or whatever. I just enjoy each film individually.
Fair enough. I think that's a good way of doing it. Yeah. I don't think... They're sort of in a weird position where they know not to take themselves seriously, but they sort of do anyway, in a weird way, in a good way, most of the time. They don't try to do things they don't need to try to do. I mean, they're based on comic books. What more could you want? Anyway, that's completely beside the point. Villains. What other good ones are there? Who's your favourite villain?
Why is my mind going blank? Villains.
I know the feeling. My mind's also gone blank. Because funnily enough, all of the villains in my favourite stories aren't my favourite villains. I think my favourite stories are usually my favourite stories for the protagonists rather than the antagonists.
I think this is one of the things I am worried about as well with the campaign, I suppose, is that we're obviously struggling to think of a villain that's like, yeah, this is my favourite villain. Like, I want to create a villain that is, well, that will be remembered.
Yep. That makes sense. I feel like Bane's a good one. Certainly how he was done in Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah.
That was a very well executed sort of psychological thing. So was the Joker, actually. The Dark Knight trilogy was just awesome. Coming from someone who doesn't really know much about, the extended Batman lore, whatever there is of it. Again, we've gone to comics, but whatever. Or rather, I've gone to comics. But yeah, he was a good one. Again, it's when they succeed, the villains that succeed the most at their goals, even if they then get undone, I think are usually some of the better ones.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like they succeed for like 5 seconds. I mean, it actually looks like they've won forever.
Yeah.
And it literally takes a miracle to overcome it. Those ones are the good ones. Maybe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It seems to be that's the pattern between the two I've just named anyway.
Noted for future use.
Dang, what have I done?
You have sealed your fate. No.
You're not my fate.
Maybe we should get back onto the topic of tropes.
Villains are tropey. Ish.
Yeah. I mean, you could have a whole campaign where there was no villain.
Where does the tension come from? You've got to have tension to drive the narrative, right?
Yeah. I suppose.
I say as if I'm educated on this kind of thing at all.
I mean, it could be you run a short campaign that's based on a natural disaster.
Ooh, the villain is nature.
Yes.
Don't you just hate nature? Oh, that's interesting. Or maybe you do actually set the party up in secret to be against each other. Well, this sounds more like a social experiment, to be honest.
No, see that, I think that is another good kind of trope, is one of the people in the party or in the group of heroes who turns out to be evil.
I've just realised this sounds like more like a social deduction game now. We've combined TTRPGs with social deduction games. I kind of dig it.
Yeah.
I say we've combined it. I know the idea's been out there before, but I kind of dig that.
Yeah.
Also, I've just looked over to my window and realised there's basically a fucking gale of rain and wind outside. So if any noises come through in the recording, I apologise.
It's not the nicest weather.
Indeed. Yeah, I think we've covered all the obvious ones. Are there any obvious tropes we haven't talked about?
For D&D, one of the good tropes is, so you all meet in a tavern. which is kind of the one you brought up earlier.
Uh-huh.
Which is always a fun one.
It's weird. It just works.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I think
easy.
it's the most iconic setting when you tell someone to think of a fantasy setting. They're either going to think of a massive like castle in a huge city, or they're going to think of a tiny village with a nice little cozy tavern in the corner with a fireplace and a bunch of people going about their business, some farmers or whatnot. It's either going to be the royal fantasy setting or the peasant fantasy setting, and those are I think the easiest images to conjure.
Yeah. I think one of the other things I like about it is that in real life, what better way to get to know people than getting drunk?
Fuck's sake. You say that, and this is going to come to a shock, I'm sure, to anyone listening, that as a 25-year-old, I've never been drunk.
You need to clarify that with saying that you've been tipsy.
Yeah, but I still don't know what a hangover feels like. I don't know what it feels like to be proper drunk. When I said I was tipsy, all I meant was I lost control of my voice volume a little bit, and one time I stood up and stumbled, but then I was fine.
I have been hungover a few times, not a lot, but a few, and I have only been particularly ill with it once. And I will tell you, you're not missing out.
I've assumed that much because I've never heard anyone said. Actually, I was about to say, I've never heard anyone say, I'm hungover and I got hammered and it was the best day of my life. But people say it all the fucking time.
Yeah. As you begin,
you just listed a series of horrible things and said you loved it. What is wrong with you? Is this just Britain?
Oh,
Is it just British people?
The shenanigans you get up to when you've got a decent amount of alcohol in your system. And it's good, but I feel like we should not be promoting binge drinking.
I just said I've never been drunk. I'm a good boy. I drink responsibly.
Yeah, so you should always drink responsibly.
/ I think I'm such a large person that it would take more alcohol than I can physically stomach to make me drunk. Mainly because I don't like many spirits.
Oh, that's fair.
Again, we've gone completely off topic where we started, but what a podcast for, eh?
Oh, dear.
I think it's time to hop aboard the interdimensional hyper train of wisdom. It's been rebranded because, I don't remember the names of things. And off we are. The end. Off we go to favourite player moments.
Are we still on the train? Choo choo.
Woo woo. Yes. I like to picture it as a combination of the train from Back to the Future,
okay,
right at the end, and the train from Mario Kart in Rainbow Road. Mainly because both those trains fly. And what's cooler than a flying train? It's like it can make the train part completely redundant. This thing we put super high efforts of like mechanical ingenuity into to make it run and stay on the tracks and not, roll over and take heavy goods. Well, let's just make that completely redundant by making it fly. But we'll still make the wheels spin and make steam come out the top and pull the thing. Fun times. Anyway, favourite player moments. I'm going to add one of those to my campaign now, I've decided.
Noted. Look forward to seeing it. Shall I go first?
3 campaigns that we share. What's your favourite moment from the last couple of weeks?
One of my many favourite moments is the drinking of the water. The purple...
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
Spiked water. Purple glowing water.
This is one of those things again, I think I brought up before, where something a player said, namely you, has snowballed into something really fun, where previously I had not even given it a second thought. So there's a town in my campaign, it's the second town the players have got to, and the lake next to it is glowing pink. And I have a reason for it glowing pink. I know why it glows pink. But that was it. I was done. It glows pink because of the thing that happens. And then your character, Amnesty, was like, what happens if you go in it? What happens if you drink it? And initially as a DM, I was intended like nothing. It's just glowing water. But,
Yeah.
that's not fun. So what came out of my mouth was, you'll find out.
Yeah. Because my character likes going for a swim. So there's a lake. It looks a bit funky, but there's a lake. So I was like, I probably want to go have a swim in that at some point. So I decided to maybe ask around, see if I could figure out whether it was safe to swim in, and I didn't get much of a response. So it made it all mysterious.
You got a response that it was safe.
Huh?
You got the response that it was safe. It's just that the NPCs were like, it'd be fun if she went in.
Yeah.
It was a harmless side effect of making your hair glow pink. What's the problem?
Oh, no. But I mean, I disappeared off, went to go investigate something, and the rest of the players decided to stick around at the dock, and one of them took a swim, and then decided to take a sip of the water.
Which, again, threw me for a blind side and I had to improvise, so I just went to the Sorcerer's Wild Magic table and rolled a d100 to see what would happen. And now we have a construct character, basically a Warforged, slightly different, with a long feathery beard. Which is just beautiful.
I love the imagery so much.
So do I.
Then
it's great. I love it.
I also just want to mention quickly in there that people keep accidentally calling it a beardy feather.
Oh, yeah. A feather of beards, I think is the phrase people keep saying, instead of a beard of feathers, which makes me picture a feather shape, and at the end of each of like the individual bristles or whatever the word is of the feathers is a whole beard.
Oh, it's amazing.
Brilliant. So yeah, that was fun. That's a good one.
Yeah. Our NPC Valor got blue skin to match my tiefling.
Which is funny because you two do have a bit of a bond forming.
Yeah.
Like a little familial friendshipy bond going on, which is like, because she's younger, she sort of looks up to you. So the fact that she now looks a bit like you until this curse is removed is kind of like, oh, this is cute.
Well, the other thing was, because my character's got short hair, we recently cut her hair short as well.
And then she cast Minor Illusion to give herself tiefling horns.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, it was amazing.
So cute, if I do say so myself.
It was adorable.
Now I have to think of my favourite moment, and I'm spoiled for choice. I'm genuinely loving all three campaigns at the moment. Yours is at a promising point that we've been aiming to get to for over a year.
Yes.
Not to mention we just had one of the most interesting and fun combats ever.
I'm so glad you said that.
That was great fun. In fact, I'm going to specify this as my favourite, purely because for the entirety of those 2 sessions, I don't think I took one normal move in combat. Every single move was me like, Pine, can I try this?
Yeah.
And it was just like, maybe. No, that fails. Because it was like a protect the orb kind of thing. We had this little orb and a bunch of people coming after us trying to break it, and we were protecting it. Yeah. And I was the one holding it because I'm a sorcerer who can do all sorts of weird funky stuff to keep it hidden and make duplicates and teleport away or whatever, trying to protect it. But I didn't spend a single turn. I was like, I'm going to cast an offensive spell at that character and move that way. It was always like, I'm going to try and spend all my movement to run around in a circle and kick up some sand and use the sand as cover to use my special magic item that lets me go invisible. And it's just like all crazy moves like that just none of them were standard, which just made the game so fun.
Yeah.
And the other guys were doing all sorts of cool combo stuffs, like combo things where, like, they were carefully positioning themselves to be flanking and casting a bunch of what's the word? Support spells. The word just vanished from my mind then. It was just, I loved it. It was so good.
I give a bit more context to that, especially now that you guys are out of the arena. So, this was obviously a Colosseum fight, large open space, which you fought
with
in.
walls.
Huh?
With walls.
With walls, yeah, and like
I don't
the
know if open
seating
is quite the right word, but yeah.
up above, and then open ceiling. And the first time you fought in there was the trials, and obviously there wasn't that much around. There was, I think, 2 pit traps in there, and just like a large open space. And then I went to town on the design for your fight, because this Colosseum like has a lot of magic behind it to change the environment to keep it all interesting. And I built a maze with lots of like traps and spinning blades and such, which to my dismay never came in, never got used, because you guys found the one area that didn't have anything in them.
I mean, we tried to use them to get the other guys, to get the enemies in.
Yeah.
But I think we were just too scared to go anywhere near them.
Yeah. And yeah, you did play it really well, because like you said, everyone kept together. There was a moment, because I was trying to peel you off a little bit, there was a moment where I nearly got Drawir to be distracted by the little turtle who was running around just casting spells and chuckling to himself. But yeah, you guys did play that really well.
It was incredibly fun, incredibly unique, and incredibly rewarding to finish.
Right.
Plus, I get to boast the fact that I cast False Life on myself to give myself extra health points, and then didn't even need it because I didn't take a single bit of damage. Which isn't to say it was easy. It's just it was very rewarding to be able to have done that, because there was a lot going on.
Yeah, I can say.
And it was all. It was basically, from a personal point of view, perfect for my character, because one thing I had in mind for my character was he was going to be very sort of deceptive physically, and like I'm going to have disguises and different personalities, and all my spells are utility spells that let me sort of trick people, and I basically did that for the entirety of the 2 sessions.
Yeah.
Which I bloody loved, and obviously everyone else got to do whatever they wanted with like the heavy combat and the wizard doing wizardy stuff. It was such good fun.
Yeah.
And we had 2 deceiving orbs, one made of ice and one that was just an illusion. And yeah, it was good fun.
I think I got 1 attack off on the orb.
You did, yes.
Yeah, on the real orb.
Wait, a hit or did I shield it? I can't remember.
I can't. I think you shielded a few. I think I may have. Maybe did I not land any? I either landed 1 or none because of your shield spell.
There's a part of me that feels like you didn't do any damage.
No, probably not.
And the one you did definitely hit was the illusion, because I remember the guy who threw the javelin then became aware that it was an illusion because he just watched his javelin go through it.
Yeah, so he fired a javelin twice at the illusion. The ice orb got hit twice before it was destroyed. And then, the one that you had, you successfully deflected away from.
Saved up them spell slots to shield those. Oh, yeah, that was a good one. And not to push the other 2 campaigns to the sideline, because our friend Forrest, who runs the other one, has just consistently thrown out interesting creatures for us to fight over and over again, taking us on a big journey through this dark, mysterious forest, which, upon rewatching the second series of The Witcher, I wonder if he took heavy inspiration from that, because the old lady in the hut did remind me very much of the antagonist of season 2 of The Witcher.
Yeah, I think so.
But I'm not complaining, because it was great fun.
It was.
And we killed the head of a small army in that one as well recently, which was fun.
Yeah.
And then in my campaign, we've been slowly teasing towards the end of the second small arc, but first big arc, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, see, now this was gonna be like my second moment I was gonna bring up was...
Oh yeah, that tasty cliffhanger. I love giving a cliffhanger out.
I love it and I hate it. So we are hunting down some organization that seems to be kidnapping people, and we track them to a cave system underneath the town. Is it a town or a
old
city?
mining tunnels underneath the town.
Yeah.
That appear to have been expanded recently.
Yeah. stalked down some of the tunnels, and my character heard a voice that she recognised, and came across a member of her old gang.
If
Huh?
if I have any advice, even as much of a noob as a DM as I still feel now, for anyone running or playing D&D, it's, if you're a player, give your DM some damn backstory.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't have to be an essay. Just give them something to hold on to. And if you're a DM, encourage your players to give you backstory, because it just makes it so much more fun to write.
It's such a good thing. Like, the moments that you get where the DM is bringing in a backstory or like a twist related to your character or brings back someone from their history, it's just my favourite moments of anything.
Yep. It's the most immersed I ever feel in any medium form.
Yeah. And
I genuinely feel like the 2 times you've given me flashbacks, because I think I mentioned before, Arathor's got amnesia, so doesn't remember anything before his 19th birthday. 2 times you've given me flashbacks, I've just literally lost myself in those moments. And, amazing.
Oh, I'm proud. I'm glad.
I need to give Forrest more backstory, because I really didn't give him much to work with.
Yeah. But no, I was just going to say is that moment with Faith in the tunnel is the first moment I've had a character's backstory come up. So
Really?
I'm excited. Yeah.
Dang.
Because before the games that we're playing in now, which are a lot of RP heavy and story related, the games I've played before have been mainly just go here, kill this. Like,
I see.
Not really backstory related or story related. So
but that's where
I'm
all
enjoying
the
it.
fun is.
Yeah.
Well, not all the fun. It's where a good deal of the fun is.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's a good one. That's like I said, spoiled for choice at the moment. All 3 campaigns that we're involved with mutually are an absolute blast at the moment.
Yeah, I'm hoping in the next few podcasts that we do, there's going to be some moments popping up from what I've got coming up. I've spent the last 2 days prepping, and I'm like, ooh, it's going to be good.
Are they big reveals or big events or both? Who knows? Can't tell me. Don't tell me. Spoilers. I can't tell you why they're spoilers. Yeah. Well, I think it's time for our 3rd and final trip on the train of infinite resplendence and traveliness.
Traveliness.
Yes. I don't know what part of that means it's good at travelling anywhere. Traveliness, I guess. Yeah, I'll go with that. The train of infinite resplendence and traveliness as we fly our way to the final section, the quick RP section. I've gone back to the Batman theme again, like I did the other week. Hi.
Hello.
We're in the new section. And I do believe it's your turn.
Yes, indeed it is. I am prepared.
Do I need to do anything? Do I need dice? Do I need my character sheet? Do I need anything?
You do not need dice. You need to... There will be moments, lots of moments, where you get to decide what you're doing. At the moment, I don't have any roles planned, but we shall see what happens.
I see.
Are you ready?
No. Let's go anyway.
With no memory of the time before, Arathor has spent the last 2 years wandering Asmir, eventually finding himself entangled with an odd group. We're gonna take a look back at those 2 years, and what better place to start than the beginning?
Ooh.
A haze of purple mist covers your vision. It presents... Jesus. Its presence...
It presents Jesus?
Sorry.
Sorry, go on.
Its presence brings comfort and a warmth deep within you. holding you there for a few moments before the mist slowly fades to darkness. The first thing you feel is the cold wooden floor beneath you, followed quickly by the pain of a headache that starts in the centre of your forehead and spreads across the rest of your head. It's not an intense pain, but it's noticeable, uncomfortable. You open your eyes and find yourself in a small cottage room. No furniture, just an empty fireplace and 2 doors with a couple of windows, letting in some faint light. You have no idea how you got here, no idea where you are. In fact, you don't remember anything. Now, as we're viewing this person wake up, can you tell us what they look like?
Way to throw it on me. This is a young half-elf chappie who has long, silvery white hair, your classic elven pointy ears, a bit of a pointy nose, and purple irises. He likes purple, you may have guessed from the purple mist. It's not to do with the fact that I love purple or anything. He's pretty average height, just under 6 foot, fairly skinny. Probably be blown over by a strong enough gust of wind. That about covers it.
You're wearing pretty simple clothes from what I remember.
Uh-huh.
And you are wearing 1 gold ring with a purple stone within.
Ring. I can resist.
With a purple stone embedded into it. If you look at it, you see flecks of light within, almost like it's holding a galaxy within. What are you doing at this moment as you wake up?
Probably taking deep breaths and looking around confusedly.
Look around, like I say, no furniture. You can see there appears to be woods outside of the hut. You seem to be in some sort of forested area.
I will sit up. Probably massage my temples a little bit. Try and get this pain out of my head. And then stand up and move towards one of the windows. The brightest window. If there is one any brighter than the others. Take a look outside.
They're all pretty similar. But as you choose one to look out of, like I say, you see a luscious green forest filled with large trees stretching up. The largest possibly 100 feet into the air. Thick branches twist and bend up to create a canopy of summer leaves above you, which let in a few streams of light. Moss and grass cover the ground around you. There's no visible path that you can see from this hut.
I'm going to approach the nearest of the 2 doors and just shout out hello as I try to open it.
Okay.
Hello?
You open it and you shout out, and you see a few birds just pick up and fly away from where you've yelled out from. There's no response.
Does the door open?
Yeah, you opened the door successfully. Those damn doors.
What's the other side?
This, I'm assuming you're opening the one towards into the forest itself.
I opened whichever one was closest.
The one into the forest itself.
Fair enough. In which case I will step out and do a small little perimeter around the building, see how big it is, see if I can spot any activity inside.
As you walk around, you see that the other door would have led off to a few smaller rooms. The hut itself isn't particularly large, maybe 20 foot wide, and it's just the 1 floor. There doesn't seem to be any life inside. The other rooms that you can peek into also appear bare. And the hut itself just... There's no path. There's nothing to suggest that anyone comes to this hut. It just seems to be placed in a bit of a clearing in the forest.
No distinguishing features whatsoever.
No. It's almost like... I want to say almost eerily just plain. Like, there is no there's no particular features, and that maybe in itself is something of note.
I pinch myself to see if I'm awake.
Pinch yourself, it hurts.
Owie! Do I recognise the trees at all? Have any idea where I am?
No. Not
Nothing
at all.
But
As you're looking out at the woods again around you, trying to recall anything, you see a wolf sat about 100 feet away, and they're just sat watching you.
A wolf? How big?
Not overly big. Like, it would be about half your height, maybe a bit higher, like normal, average wolf-sized. Not a large wolf.
Does it look calm? For a better word, another word is it like it's on the hunt? Am I in danger?
No, like I say, it's sat, and you can see its tail flick every now and again, just sat watching you calmly.
In the
Curiously.
universal language of dogs expressing confusion, I look at it and tilt my head to the side.
It mirrors you and tilts its head as well.
I tilt it the other way.
It tilts again, but it kind of does that thing where it tilts it far and then pulls it back and then tilts it a little bit again.
Does it seem more intelligent than it should?
I should have got you to get your dice and your character sheet.
I have dice.
Okay.
I can get dice.
Roll. Which would this be? We go with intelligence. Wait, what check is animal handling? If you've got animal handling, roll that.
I've got it. Give me if I'm proficient.
Yes.
Let's find out. I am not.
Okay, what is it? What?
I got 8.
It seems like a wolf.
Well, that's just rude. Two questions.
Okay.
Do I have level 1 abilities, and do I know that I have level 1 abilities if I do?
At this time, if I in my mind, you have not discovered that you have magic
Damn
yet.
it. So I can't use my telepathic speech to try and talk to this thing.
If you can come up with like a narrative way that you would be testing out these abilities and it come to fruition.
Nah, I wouldn't just randomly expect it to be able to hear my thoughts. I'm going to take some tentative steps towards it, trying to seem non-threatening.
It watches as you do, but doesn't move away. As you get closer, you see the main body of the wolf is a dark grey coloration, but the head and almost like a mane around the neck of the creature is white, and it follows down its spine as a streak of white to the tip of its tail. It seems to be it watches you for a few steps and then also like stands and takes a few tentative steps forwards, sniffing the air as it does.
How far away were we to start with?
You were 100 feet. I'd say you're about 80 at this point.
I'm going to intend to get to the point where we're 30 feet apart and stop. And then stand there with my arms crossed and just casually say, "Nice weather we're having."
It takes like a few more steps before it realizes that you've stopped. And then six bats down. Sort of cocks its head at you again, but then looks up.
You seem far more intelligent than I had any reason to believe wolves could be.
Looks back down at you again.
Are you friendly? Are you a friend?
Stands back up again, and then cautiously again approaches and is sniffing the air around you. Are you letting them approach?
Yes, and I will make myself appear smaller by squatting down a bit onto one knee. That's not squatting. I'm just going to kneel on one knee.
Okay.
And maybe hold a hand out and just whisper under my breath, please don't eat my hand, please don't eat my hand.
It takes the few steps up and sniffs the hand that you're holding out. Just takes a few sniffs and then does a lick across your hand and then goes down into a playful stance and starts jumping around, being like a dog that's like, play.
I look around for any sticks or pine cones or anything.
Yeah, you can easily find some sticks.
Does he look like he wants to play fetch?
If you go to pick up a stick, do you go to pick up a stick?
Yeah. You want to play fetch?
You
want a stick?
I'll do when it goes down into play position and stands back up again, and then play position and stands back up again.
I'll get the stick. And I launch the stick. Pathetically, because I have no strength. It goes half as far as I wanted it to.
It goes after the stick, picks it up, and then just sort of trots around proudly with it rather than bringing it back.
A no take, only throw kind of pup, are you? If you will allow me to, I don't know what gender it is, will allow me to approach again, I want to give it a scritch, and it is.
He'll backs up at first because when you first come to approach it, because it thinks you're going to try and take the stick, but then lets you approach and embraces the scritches.
Well, you got any idea what's going on here, buddy? I say as I look around, not expecting a response.
Are you still scritching?
Yep.
I was just gonna roll over onto his belly.
Oh, I've got to scritch their chesticles. Scritchy. I imagine he does that thing where, if I rub his chest, not violently, but sort of really quickly, you know that thing where they playfully try and bite down at your hand as you do it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Assuming he lets me, I'll just play for a couple of minutes. And then eventually just be like, well, any idea which way's a good way to go? Because doesn't seem to be much around here.
It looks at you, cocks its head, and then looks around at the forest for a second, goes up, nuzzles your side a bit, and then starts walking off in a particular direction.
Is that an answer, or are you just abandoning me already? I'll see if he reacts if I start following.
Yeah. If as he hears you following, he keeps walking forward, and you can see as he's walking, his ears are twitching, constantly listening out. Every so often will stop and look back at you. Other times he will stop, and the ears will just keep twitching, sniff the air a bit, before slightly changing his paths and continues to walk.
I wonder if you have a name. And if you did, would you be able to communicate it to me? I'm just thinking out loud at this point.
Eventually, they do bring you to a path, and it heads a little bit down the path until you see the trees start to thin, and if you look to where the path is going, you see it leads out of the woods. And at this point, the wolf stops sits down and looks back at you.
Is this as far as you go?
It'll look back into the woods. I just realised I actually did the look back into the woods, and I was like, that's not good for radio.
Brilliant. I'm torn. I don't want to leave him. He's his friend. He's a good woofer. I don't want to leave the woofer. Should I keep going?
Are you asking the wolf?
Yes.
Just cocks its head again.
Well, that's not helpful. Genuinely don't know what to do.
The wolf, seeing Arthur's hesitation, will come up to you, sort of do like a circle around your legs, like brushing up against you, and then walk slightly away, does another circle and lays down, just looking at you as it's laid there.
This would be a lot easier if you could talk. I don't want to leave him. I want to keep him. I want to be friends with him.
It's your decision to make.
Come with me. Come be my friend.
Do you say that to the wolf?
Yes.
As you say that, it looks up with you, but you can tell like the eyes just look really sad, and then looks back at the woods.
What's so special about these woods?
Finds a stick on the ground and just nozzles it.
It's been a pleasure. But I'm not sure nuzzling sticks is my thing. So I'm follow the path. I wish you'd follow me because you're clearly a good boy. And a clever boy. Probably cleverer than me. I think you should come with me, but whatever. If you're going to be like that. I say playfully, I don't mean it.
Sits back up and will, if you're stroking him or anything, will lick your hand.
Time to be all alone in this big empty world, I guess. I got no clue what's going on. But I guess thank you for your help. Probably would have been lost for a lot longer without you. You stay safe now. Do you want a stick?
I'll do the playful pose again.
I lost the stick again.
Goes running off after it.
And then I watch him chase it, and then just before he picks it up, I'll turn and follow the path.
So as we're viewing the scene of you leaving the woods, the wolf has just picked up the stick, notices you leave, takes a few more steps forward, like sits down again, drops the stick, and just watches as you go. And as you're making your way out, we zoom out and watch as Arathor walks on his path. You may see him turn back momentarily to the wolf, who remains sat watching him leave. Our view moves around the scene, slowly continuing an outward zoom, and as Arathor almost vanishes in the distance, a tree cuts across our vision, and where we once saw the wolf sitting, we now see the back of a humanoid figure standing up from a crouch. Long white hair stretching down their back, and a wooden staff of intertwined branches in one hand, and the scene fades.
Why you do this? First you hit me with the cute animal, then you hit me with the plot twist. I wasn't expecting my heart to be tugged so much for this. This is not fair.
I'll say that these are probably how I'm going to do most of these, because it's fun.
Why are you bullying? Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
I want a wolf friend.
Well, you know what woods you left. Arathor still thinks the wolf is a wolf and may still be there.
But why would Arathor want to go back to a wolf now?
I don't know. Why would he?
Well, I mean, he wants to go back there anyway, because that's what's happening in the campaign, but...
Hey, you've still got 2 years of things to do.
He's now wolfy in my head. Oh, that was fun.
Yeah. So, just for future reference, if there's more things, so if there's ideas that you have for Arathor of things that you like he would be doing or happened in those 2 years, give me those ideas and we'll have a play with them.
Fair. I mean, all I had so far was him just wandering around trying to find interesting things because he doesn't have a clue what is, who he is.
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
I want a wolfie friend now.
You can always go back to the
woods. I have the big weakness with the animals. Well, I think that wraps us up neatly.
Yeah.
We're going to board this time-travelling rainbow train. And we're going to hop into the whatever time we record the next podcast. And that's when we'll be speaking to you again.
Woo!
That's right. We're time travellers now.
Hell yeah.
I mean, in theory, you listening to this is a form of time travel because this is a record of the current date, which for you isn't the current date, it's the past. So we'll see you in the future, which will also be our past from then. And at that point, it just gets mind-boggling, confusing time. Channel your inner Hagrid. All right, Harry. What are you doing down there?
Searching for the Chamber of Secrets.
Which for you isn't the current date, it's the past. So we'll see you in the future, which will also be our past from then. And at that point, it just gets mind-boggling, confusing time.
I think we should leave it as you having that rant just slowly fading out as the ending music comes on.
Bye.
Bye.